What is up, guys? How we doing? So, man, MX Sports, they did it this time. Their arrogance and the way they treat people, it's finally catching up to them. And I feel bad about it, but not really. We got Ironman this weekend. Typically, it's the final event, but it's not this year because they've got the Motocross to Nations a couple weeks afterwards. So I had to flip the schedule up just a little bit. I want to talk about Jet's brother. He has been so close to winning, and he's actually got a record right now. So Aaron Plessinger is out for the outdoor season. Is this because of his trainer, or is this because of the long season? I don't know. I'm going to break it down. You decide. If you've got some aches and pains, I'm telling you, Nano-Xtreme. I put it on my shoulder all the time. My shoulder's jacked, bone on bone. It's arthritis all day long. I put the Nano on, I feel great. It's awesome. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code COOKSY and get free shipping. If you're working on your training program, head over to Complete Racing Solutions. Coach Rob has specific programs for motocross, off-road, flexibility, young riders, old riders, and he customizes them. They're all about you. So head over to Complete Racing Solutions and look at the programs Coach has for you. CompleteRacingSolutions.com. We're getting into the final few days. If you want to win $42,000, yeah, I said that, $42,000 or a new Tesla, hit up AJ Wright's Crypto. He's partnered with VeChain to give that away, $1,500 in crypto, and a whole bunch of other stuff. There'll be 2 more drawings off after this, and the final one is for a Cybertruck.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So with Loretta Lynn's wrapped up, it's all in the history books now. Man, this is going to go down as probably one of the worst events for the promoter. Turnout was down. They banned Slowy. The public is starting to turn on them. Their dirty tactics hidden behind save the sport, what's good for the sport, they're finally being exposed. And their muscle in this is Tim Cotter. Tim Cotter is the guy that brings down the hammer for the Coombs family. He's been this guy for a long time. All he is their muscle. He loves being the guy. He's like that kid when the teacher goes out of the room that writes down names and just takes that little bit of power and just overplays his hand completely. That's Tim Cotter. And he is feeling the heat. People are starting to see who he is. And I see they're in an all-time spin. They're trying to put him out there with anyone who's associated with the sport in a good light. They are trying so hard to spin their image, but it's so obvious. The way Tim Cotter treats people, if he didn't have power, there's nobody would be his friend. Take away what he can do for these people, their teams, their careers. They wouldn't hang out with him. They wouldn't do these posts. They're not his friends. This is a 100% transactional thing where they're trying to get some equity with a guy who has a lot of power in this sport. And while from the outside, it might just look like he has a lot of friends, it's really not like that. He's like that rich kid that has the cool yard and everyone wants to play in his yard. So you be nice to the kid just because you want to play in the yard. But if his parents were broke, you wouldn't hang out with him. That's Tim Cotter right now. And I have the details about the gentleman who had the heart attack at Loretta Lynn's, who they held in the MX Sports trailer for 2 hours. So this guy is a very healthy guy, did not get the shot. And while that's completely irrelevant to the story, you guys, anytime there's a heart issue, everybody asks, did he get the jab? He did not, but he started feeling the effects of the things that happen when you experience a heart attack. His wife is in a wheelchair. He got her into the van and he was afraid to collapse in front of everybody, in front of his riders, because he's a mechanic. He wanted to get up there closer to the EMTs to see what was going on. So he drives up to the MX Sports trailer. For 2 hours, they accused him of being on fentanyl, meth, instead of just immediately grabbing the EMTs. By the way, there were no EMTs on site, none. They did not have EMTs at the event. Keep in mind, this is an event with over 5,000 people gathered and excessive heat warnings all day long, and they don't have an EMT. Oh, and did I mention people were riding on the Stasic track? Typically, whenever the track is hot, you need to have an ambulance there. I looked up Tennessee law, and it's not the actual law, but come on. As much money as people pay to go to Loretta Lynn's, at least you can have an EMT on site. Luckily, this gentleman made it to the hospital in a nick of time, just barely, and he's alive and he's pissed. He can't believe, and he did have drug tests done to prove he wasn't on drugs when he got to the hospital. That was the narrative being spun by MX Sports, but it was quickly debunked with his drug test. So after being harassed for 2 hours in the MX Sports trailer where he couldn't make a call out, The Wi-Fi that his wife purchased to call an ambulance couldn't call out. They finally got one there 2 hours late, and he's pissed. It could have cost him his life. It could have caused a stroke. Had he had a stroke, he'd be in such bad shape right now. And I am not a person who is all for suing. I took my kids to Chuck E. Cheese a long time ago. We're hanging out, having a good time, and there's a family there with this little 2-year-old demon climbing. You know those little machines, little cars that rock back and forth? This little kid is climbing on the hood, the windshield, the roll cage of this fake Jeep, just being a complete hooligan, and the parents are just watching. Well, of course, the kid falls off, lands pretty hard, starts bawling. The injuries were not severe. I mean, you could obviously see the kid was banged up, but he was not truly injured. What does the family do? They bring in an ambulance, stretcher the kid out because they're building a lawsuit. Honestly, I think Chuck E. Cheese should be able to sue them for lost business because of, and the bad PR of bringing in the ambulance, because they couldn't get their damn kid and they allowed him to break the rules. That's disgusting. And that's the type of lawsuits that have given all lawsuits a bad name. But that doesn't mean some people shouldn't be held accountable for bad behavior just because some people abuse the lawsuits and the way that our legal system works. If you risk this guy's life by accusing him of being on drugs, not having an EMT in an event that had a heat warning, yeah, you're probably in trouble. And don't tell me they don't have the money to pay for these extra safety features that they should have at the event. By my calculations, this event pulls in roughly $5 million. There's enough in the budget. They clearly don't spend it on flaggers. Those flaggers are not top notch and they don't pay them very much. They clearly didn't put it into track prep and removing trees that might be in the way. I don't know, maybe they're tight on money because they've paid influencers to come to the event and say positive things because they can't get positive things by people who aren't paid by them. True story, there are some influencers who were either given free entry, preferential treatment, just to come there and make sure they do positive videos to make it seem like a cooler event. Wouldn't you think it'd be better if you just had a cool event and had people like Slowy, myself, and other people that are there to just present the event in the light that it is? And if you have a good event, we'll present it in a good light. If you do dirty things, we'll present those. Instead, they prefer to pay influencers to go there and lie. But these things are catching up with MX Sports, and they're going to have to pay out pretty big on this one. They are caught dead to rights doing some really awful things to this gentleman who had that heart attack, and he didn't deserve it. And I've also had a couple other people who are in wheelchairs reach out to me and say, hey, at any of these pro nationals at Loretta Lynn's, there is no ADA capabilities. They do not have much wheelchair access around an outdoor national or at Loretta Lynn's. There was an issue with this last year at the final SMX round at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and I thought it was just an oversight. I thought they were just being inconsiderate. I actually think it might be worse. It sure looks to me like they always hide injuries. They always hide the severity of injuries. I don't think they want people in wheelchairs going to the races. They're so involved in this cover-up of the most dangerous sport that we have that exists right now. The sport is at a danger level as the same as college football was when the president stepped in and regulated. That's the kind of injury levels that we are at right now in the sport of motocross. So they're doing their very best to hide this. So I think the lack of ADA cooperation is to discourage people in wheelchairs who've been hurt riding dirt bikes to attend these events. People don't want to see 12 people in a wheelchair and go, how'd that happen? It's a bad look. It absolutely is. And I don't have proof of this, but it sure looks like they're doing this on purpose to discourage those people from attending the events. And when you see these pictures of Davey Coombs handing out water, that was a photo op. He was there for 10 minutes. Tim Cotter being talked up by different industry people and how great a guy he is. They're only doing it because of what Tim can provide them. By the way, that lottery that they have for, hookups at the ranch, it's not a lottery. I know a couple people who are prominent. They're important in the sport. They were given hookups. There was no lottery. They said, oh, okay, well, what name is it registered under? We want to make sure you win the lottery. That's not a lottery. The true lottery is only for about 40 hookups, and they stick you way out back. All the good ones go to whoever they want, and I don't care. I understand that. When you want big names at the event, does it help the event? 100%. I get it. But don't sell it as it's a lottery. That is where they're wrong. you can go ahead and give preferential treatment, but don't hide it and pretend like it's a lottery. That's where they're wrong. That's where they're 100% wrong. If they want to give guys like Chad Reed, Mike Brown, factory riders, anyone that really is good for the event to be there, if they want to just promise them hookups, go for it. I don't care. That's fine. But don't pretend like it's a lottery and rig it so they win. If you want to ship anything, use Precision Transport. That's pretransport.com, a family-owned shipping company, and they will get your package there, and they're reasonable with customer service. So hit up pretransport.com. Alias MX gear. This stuff is going fast. I don't know how much is left, but if you want any of the 25.5 gear, you're going to want to order quick. Head over to Alias MX and get your badass gear before it's sold out. Ride Strapped. A lot of people ask me where these t-shirts come from, the Red Pill, the Industry Outsider. Head over to ridestrap.com and you can get any of the shirts there. I'm trying to get Chris to do a Cooksey Media merch section, so maybe we can convince him to do that. Chris helps me so much, I don't really care. I would love for him to make profit off the Cooksey Media merch because he's helped me so much. So anyway, head over to Ridestrap to get your shirts, guys. So big news in South Carolina. Cooper Webb has purchased the Top Gun motocross park. This tells me he's looking at his racing career and he's got maybe 2 years left, maybe 3 at the most, and he's looking to the next chapter. And I love that he's staying involved. From what I understand, it will not become a training facility. This will continue to be open to the public as a riding facility, but he does want to make some improvements and add some stuff to it. So good on Cooper Webb. I really hope that he doesn't turn it into a private training facility and he keeps it open to the public. That's a beautiful facility, and I'm glad he's staying involved. So Aaron Plessinger has announced he's out for the season. He's out for the outdoor season. He might come back for SMX, but that fatigue and the Epstein-Barr type issues that he's been having, this is severe. And we're seeing a lot more of it with this additional schedule. The fact that these guys have 31 weekends of high pressure, high intensity racing, it's wearing on them. But the other thing I have to ask, is it the schedule or is it his trainer? I like Alden Baker. He's a really nice guy and he's produced more champions than I think anyone else as a trainer in this sport. But he's also produced the most guys that have Epstein-Barr or chronic fatigue issues. You tell me, is it Alden Baker that caused the fatigue or the schedule? Or maybe a combination of both. But either way, if I was Alden Baker, I would take a look at it and say, listen, I can't keep destroying these guys. And they're not all champions. He's destroying guys like Plessinger who haven't got to that highest level yet. Is it worth it? You do get some results short term, but it only lasts about 3 or 4 years, and then we see these guys fatigue out. I don't know. That's something these guys are going to have to look at and decide, and Alden's going to have to look at and decide, does he need to modify his program? Does he need to make some changes? Does he need to add some more rest? I don't know. That's up to those guys, but it sucks when you see somebody, the people's champ like Aaron Plessinger, having to sit out rounds because of fatigue.
To all the internet experts, the Epstein-Barr test came back negative out there and didn't overtrain. Got a pretty bad sinus infection and told myself I was going to push through it. Unfortunately, it caught up to me and knocked a bunch of my levels down. So, little heads up: if you don't know the situation, don't speak on it. What the comments were saying about my trainer and. Yeah, it's not cool to talk about something that you have no idea what's going on. So either way.
So as soon as I finished the AP piece, I went to edit it and I saw his Instagram post saying it's not Epstein-Barr and it was caused by a sinus infection where he ran himself into the ground. I'm sure there's some truth to that. But what about all the other riders in that same program who've suffered fatigue? Maybe it is just a sinus infection. Maybe I don't know. All I'm saying is Alden Baker has to take a look at something he's doing in that program. He has more guys with chronic fatigue than any of the trainers that I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I see. And maybe this was just because of a sinus infection and AP pushed and just ran himself into the ground. But to me, it sure looks like what we've seen in the past with Epstein-Barr. But hey, I'm going to take Aaron at his word. This is a class act, and I could also see him coming out to protect people because he's a good dude. And I'm not trashing Alden. He's the most successful trainer in this sport. I'm just saying he walks that fine line between overtraining and training to be a champion. You guys got to decide if that's too much, and that's up to Alden and his athletes, how hard they want to push and if they want to risk pushing into the red zone. So that's it. AP's the man. Get well soon. So the next 2 rounds of the outdoor series, they go to Ironman and then Unadilla. Hayden Deegan is he could clinch this championship at Unadilla. He's got a 46-point lead over Joe Shimoda, and if he can extend that to over 50 in the next 2 rounds, he doesn't even have to go to Budds Creek. And if you look at the 450 class, Jet is in a similar situation. He's got a 60-point lead. He could also wrap this thing up. We could have it completely done with 1 week to go. I don't remember the last time both championships were wrapped up 1 race early. It really does take some of the drama out of it, and this is what happens when you have a playoff. Now my question is, do you rest these guys? In other sports, basketball, baseball, and that's the formula they want to use, is regular season. Every time those teams clinch their spot and they can't better it anymore and they leave it, they rest guys. If these guys already have these championships wrapped up, should they rest and be ready for the 3-round playoff? I'll tell you what, I would. If it was my team and my riders, I'd be like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and sit out Budds Creek and claim wrist injury, back injury, or some little thing to give them a little bit more of a break so they can start their SMX testing, because it's different tracks. They're hybrid supercross. It's a completely different skill set, and it's a big advantage to get a 1-week jump on that. And if these guys do back off, Hunter Lawrence could get off the dubious list of most 450 moto wins without a single overall. I went through history, and anyone with 4 moto wins, is which Hunter has at least 1 overall. So if these guys do back off a little bit at Budds Creek, maybe Hunter Lawrence can get that first overall win and get off the dubious list as most moto wins without an overall. Anyway, I'm glad they're back to racing. We have 3 straight weeks of outdoor nationals, then they get a week off, and we head right into SMX. We are jam-packed with action all the way through the donations. So thanks, guys. Remember, all you members are registered to win. Last month, we gave away some Nano Xtreme. I have not got with my sponsors and seen who wants to do a giveaway for August, but I'll have something for you guys in August as well. Every month I give something away, and then in December we're giving away the new Power Sports XQi3 electric motorcycle. It's similar to a Sur-Ron, but it's faster, costs less, and handles better. True story, I've got both of them. Thank you guys. Here's your member of the day.
Let's start this off by saying, we got them. The illegal sale of American motorcycle racing. I present a case that reveals how the American Motorcyclist Association's 2008 sale of its racing properties constituted an illegal transfer of public trust into private hands. My name's B Mazy, and I'm here to stir shit up. So I made a song for you guys. You know, it's crazy that the riders still gotta pay to race, even though these guys are just filling their pockets because they're money-hungry, greedy, stupid mother, ex-circus owners, but still got the same mindset for the Supercross. Screw Feld, screw the AMA, and screw Rob Dingman.